What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. I have a really important one for you guys this evening. Obviously, we're going to be talking and poking a little fun at Nancy Pelosi here. Those new positions that she has initiated are down pretty significantly today, but the reason for that is obviously this Deepseek AI development that really started gaining steam over this past weekend. Is the market overreacting? Are we kind of at the end of potentially American AI dominance? And again, is the market overreacting here? What I'll tell you guys right now, before we kind of get into most of this video, we are going to get a lot more information and guidance from the other Mag 7 companies this week. And it's going to be really important to see how they react to and start to speak about capital expenditures moving forward. But we'll talk about that as we get into the Deepseek area of this video here. So, guys, before we get into all of that information, if you guys do enjoy the information and analysis that I provide for you guys in these videos here, make sure you go down and hit that like button. It costs you nothing to do it, but it helps me out a whole lot in getting these videos out to as many people who actually want to learn. Now, obviously, as always, I have to give a shout out to all of you members in my private community there. You guys are absolutely crushing it. I'm going to throw some of the gain screenshots on the screen right now. I know a lot of you guys are having a lot of fun with my most recent mid to long-term share purchase, RKT. Some of you guys took that as a short-term trade, and that one is doing absolutely phenomenal. We've got 1,000% trades, multi-100% trades. Again, guys, if you guys want to hop into the best trading community, in the world right now, again, nobody else really has the ability to give you guys that big picture macro understanding in really applying it to the charts on a day-to-day basis. It's 50% off for your first month. It only comes out to $30. If you guys want that, use code TRADE. But remember, prices are going to be going up at the end of February. So if you guys do want to secure this lower rate, make sure you guys hop in now. Again, you guys get all the private live streams, the full list of stocks and cryptos that are about to explode before they do, the pre-market plans, the macro research reports, single stock research reports, and honestly, access to the best community ever. Everybody is always calling out amazing tickers, amazing setups, and that's what it's for, teaching you guys how to fish. So if you're interested, link down below. But let's get into this video here, and enough on all that other stuff. So, just kind of looking at the market here. Again, what I like to say a lot is the market is going to tell you exactly what it means almost, if you can think about it like that. If you look at the candles on the chart here and look at the overall structure of the market, it paints a perfect picture. So what have we seen over the last couple of weeks here? We were in a little bit of a downtrend. We shifted out of this downtrend and started to move to the upside and just barely made a new all-time high on the S&P 500. We're looking at ES here, the S&P 500 futures. Now, if you guys have been following me on Twitter and seen some of my gain screenshots, what I've been saying is that the market has not given me my full green light yet to start putting back in full size into the market. What is that one last thing that I need to see after this shift of this downtrend? A higher low. We were talking about this on the morning stream today, that this move down in the market could easily be the start of forming that higher low and starting that potential uptrend that we would all want to see out of the market here. So again, you guys kind of know the deal. I'm not really the biggest fan of trend lines, but just kind of visually here, we did see kind of a retest of this old trend line this morning at around 6 a.m. when the market was absolutely drilling off of this Deepseek AI news. Now, again, we're not going to talk about this really in depth in this video here, but one of the main reasons why I have been kind of hunting some of these really, really rate sensitive sectors here, and why RKT was one of the names that I decided to buy. I have about 2,000 shares of RKT, so not a crazy size position, but sizable enough if it wants to get significantly move into the upside here. I've been talking about the likelihood for 10-year yields and really long duration bonds to be topping for some time. When that starts to happen, you see these rate sensitive sectors start to fire off significantly. Biotech, real estate, maybe sometimes even the banking sector. There's a lot of opportunity if you are able to identify when it is more likely than not that yields are going to be starting to shift course. Now, obviously, we do have this little head and shoulders here on the 10-year treasury. This zone that we are starting to poke into is really important. What I kind of think is about to happen over the next couple of weeks here is we chop around in this zone for a little bit before potentially making that further move to the downside. Now, I know that a lot of you guys that are watching this video right now have seen the crazy bond callouts that I've made in the past, calling the tops to the day. And then asking about TLT and TMF. For me personally, I'm not going anywhere near TLT or TMF this time around. If you look at the charts of TLT and TMF and compare them to RKT, you're going to know exactly why I went out and decided to buy shares of RKT instead of TLT and TMF. The potential risk-adjusted returns on something like RKT is way better than going for common shares in TLT or TMF, or even options on those ETFs and levered ETFs. So let's now first start talking a little bit about Nancy Pelosi's most recent share purchases here, because it is going to be a little fun to kind of poke fun and just kind of feed into this Deepseek AI situation that we're looking at here. So the ticker that we're going to be looking at here is Vistra. So we talked about this ticker in the last YouTube video, but what I really wanted to get across in that last video with you guys was just the idea of why these investors or these politicians are moving into these types of names and sectors. So if you look at Vistra, what is it? It's an electric utilities company. Remember, this is how we talked about it last time. If you are going to see more data centers, more NVIDIA GPUs, more power being required, well, obviously a company like Vistra here can benefit. But as you can see today, this stock was down about 28%. Why? This is where we can start talking a little bit about Deepseek. And obviously, as we saw today, NVIDIA was down about 17%. And I think everybody kind of has a general understanding of kind of what Deepseek is. It's an OpenAI ChatGPT competitor model. And they were able to accomplish and have basically an as good and as efficient model as OpenAI's ChatGPT with a fraction of the cost. So about $6.5 million is what they said is what it cost them to build this model, and many magnitudes less GPUs from NVIDIA. Now, they weren't really supposed to have these GPUs anyway because of that Biden kind of chips export ban, but that's kind of a question for another day, how they were getting these chips. Now, what I think a lot of people are saying and kind of thinking about here is, oh my God, China's going to start taking over AI, American AI kind of supremacy, let's say, is coming to an end. But what people are failing to realize here is one thing is that the DeepSeek AI model is open source, meaning that all of these American companies can now utilize and really be benefactors of that efficiency of this DeepSeek model. Now, why NVIDIA specifically would be down is because of this. And we've seen this a lot. Let's just kind of set the landscape here. Remember, last week we talked about Stargate, where $500 billion is going to be coming into the U.S. markets to invest in AI over the next 4 years. We've seen it in all of the other Mag 7 earnings reports that they're going to be increasing capital expenditures on these types of NVIDIA GPUs in order to train these models, in order to make them better and excel and try to get to where they want to be in the AI space. But what DeepSeek has shown us is that you may not need as many of these NVIDIA GPUs in order to get the results that you want and in order to kind of go forward in this AI process here that the entire market is going through. So when you really think about it, and this is kind of where we get into, we're going to get a little bit more information on a lot of this going into this next week. And as we see here, again, we have Tesla's earnings Wednesday after close. Facebook, which is going to be a very important one, because Facebook has made the mistake in years prior, especially as it relates to the metaverse, with drastically increasing their capital expenditures and not getting an ROI on it. And that is what this is all about right now, is how are these different companies going to be generating some sort of return on investment based on all of the capital that they're deploying into NVIDIA, into these AI projects, when these Chinese companies are able to do and accomplish these things for a fraction of the cost. So when you really think about it, it is not really that bearish for the other Mag 7 companies. If they come out throughout this week and say, well, we're kind of reevaluating our capital expenditures. Yes, we were spending all of this money in the past, but going forward, we may not have to spend all of this money. That can actually end up boosting free cash flow and can increase their present valuations based on how a lot of these models are going to be valuing these companies. So for the other Mag 7 companies, it can actually be relatively good. Now, also for NVIDIA as well, guys, this is still too early to tell. And the one point that I really want to make here And this is kind of the counter, because I don't want people to come out and think that I'm saying, oh, nvidia's done, nobody's going to be buying their GPUs anymore. The point is this: if we've proven and shown that a lot of these different developments that we've had in AI can now be done a lot more efficiently, obviously there are further places that we want to go in this space. You guys heard it last week when Larry Ellison was talking about the potential for these cancer vaccines. So in the healthcare space, in the business world, these developments in AI are going to be very, very, very significant. If you think about the market in this way, what it actually means is that if there's all this money that was already ready to get deployed into the AI space, in the way that it was currently framed to investors, imagine how excited they're going to be, potentially, depending on what happens in these earnings and what kind of ROI that these investors are going to be requiring from these different investments. But imagine how excited they're going to be if the speed at which we can now excel in the AI space, imagine if that just starts going exponential. And I think that's what a lot of people are discounting about this development with Deepseek. Again, I really don't think that this is a bad thing for artificial intelligence and AI at all. I actually think this is a net bullish thing moving forward. Obviously, when something crazy happens in the market, it's obviously going to shake things up in the short term. But in the medium and long term, I think this is going to be a net benefit because competition is exactly what we need in order to kind of drive outcomes here. If we now have these Chinese companies that are sitting over there that are working on these models and working on these AI developments, it might be the little kick in the rear for a lot of these US companies to say, okay, we're not the only game in town. We obviously have the necessary capital and the required capital in order to move forward. How do we then use that the most efficiently and effectively in order to continue moving forward and beat some of those competitors? And I think that's going to be a net benefit. So guys, that is going to wrap it up for this video here. If you did enjoy the information and analysis that I provided for you guys, make sure you go down and hit that like button. It costs you nothing to do it. Helps me out a whole lot in spreading these videos out to as many people who actually want to learn. And again, make sure you subscribe if you guys do want to see more videos like this. But until next time, team, I'll see you. Peace.